showtime!
Showtime, CFM Radio.
Let's go. We are back. It's actually a Thursday today, but we are here.
CFM Radio, Thursday edition.
Special
Edition because today we are joined by special guest, Wonder Chef.
Hey.
You know him, you love him.
Woo! What a wonderful
Hopefully.
chef he is.
Thank you.
Now-
I'll cook for everybody soon.
Hell yeah. Now, last time we had Chef on, it was a bit of a technical difficulty, so Chef, go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right, yeah, take two. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Wonder Chef. I am a commentator / caster in a lot of different games. Do a lot of esports stuff. I do a lot of production stuff as well. So I'm just all around the competitive gaming scene. But you know, I like a lot of games in general. I'm a big nerd.
Oh,
Chef is a great personality in the Pokemon sphere, in the fighting game community, in a lot of like he's saying, he's everywhere. Chef, where can we find you on the internet?
I'm at EGP Wonder Chef everywhere. EGP stands for Epic Gamer Productions. That was cool once upon a time. I swear that wasn't cringe when we made that name.
Yeah. Wow. Some epic games were played.
Epic games are always played, especially if you're listening here tonight on CFM Radio.
What can you do on the moon? You can't even breathe on the moon. Can't lie down in the dunes and hold your baby tight. You can't hug your baby on the moon.
We all love these classics here. We're sitting here, we're playing classic games, but I gotta ask, do you guys remember Gex?
Oh, yeah.
I do.
Absolutely. Who could forget? Tail time.
The smack talking TV addicted gecko. You know, he was Crystal Dynamics mascot in the 90s. Can you believe that? Like,
Yeah, in the time of mascots.
right, where mascots were everywhere. And speaking of mascots were everywhere, how about Tomba, pink-haired caveman?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun early PlayStation.
I love Tomba. We were just talking about this little spoil. I didn't even realize this is what we were talking about tonight, but like I was just so excited to talk about it. But yeah, Tomba. I love Tomba. That was one of my favorite games. There's this like whole list of games that I kind of look back as like my formative games of my somewhat childhood, and that is for sure one of them that was on it. I actually went back and like visited some of those games. Like it was like Bomberman 64 and like Azure Dreams,
yes.
and Tomba was definitely on that list. So I was playing Tomba kind of recently, and I'm excited. I would love to see more Tomba. That game is like really creative.
Yes.
Yeah. Games
A
with
lot of creativity.
style. They made them
Yes.
with such style back then.
Everything needed to look distinct. Everything needed to be like separate itself from the rest. Honestly, I don't know what a generic game today really is. Like, what is a generic game, right? Because back when we were playing games on the PS1 and the PS2, I'll tell you, boy, there were some generic games. Like,
Yeah.
like, but they made other games like Tomba stick out, you know?
Yeah.
And like, you
Artistic
needed
style.
to have that.
To me,
Yeah.
the generic games nowadays are not to say that they're bad per se, but
No.
like hyper realistic games, like for example, you know, like the stylization of again, I'm not saying these games are bad, but if you look at something like Last of Us or like Last of Us 2, I guess is a great example. Like to me, it's like it's very hyper realistic, but there's no style to the games, which of course is a choice to be made. So I think that that's kind of the generic game to me nowadays.
You make a good point. And I think use it. I actually 100% agree on honestly with like the comparisons with The Last of Us. But I think The Last of Us is the trendsetter for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
for this generation, because I hear Last of Us get a lot of flack like that too. I'm not a big Last of Us stan either. I can't believe I'm saying that right now, but like, it's one of those things where like people gotta remember Last of Us came out on PS3, bro.
Yeah, that game looked amazing, by the way, back when it came out. That was like part of what was so mind-blowing about it. And again, it's supposed to be kind of like a horror movie, so I'm not saying it's like a bad show. Yeah, well, they should make an HBO show about it. Imagine that.
Ooh, sorry.
Great idea, great concept. But,
they put a lot of value in that cinematic feel, and that doesn't always equate to like I'm having a great time, or or just something cute and fluffy.
No, dude, true, yeah, very true. Last of Us, I was gonna say Last of Us are fun games, like.
I will say there's other games that are kind of they take that similar style and they don't do it as well, right? Like that was just an example I think everybody would know.
I agree. So, I agree with you.
That's the generic still to me, yeah.
It's kind of funny to think Call of Duty is one of those things people look forward to, because today it's almost like every Call of Duty is very distinct from one another.
Yeah.
Like, this last Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, was very different than like 1942, right? Like, like, or the Cold War one, very different. They're all very, very, very different. Like military simulator shooters, military games, but very different. Like,
yeah, I've come a long way from even like Medal of Honor or like Battlefield. the new modern
Medal
Battlefield 2.
2042, baby.
Yeah, don't worry, we'll fix it.
I know. I already made. Nobody heard it last time when I made my my call out that I liked Redfall actually, but then this time around, I'm here to say that I bought Battlefield 2042 for $5, and current Battlefield 2042 definitely worth $5.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like current if you have Game Pass, I tell this to people all the time.
Yeah.
Because people still shit on Battlefield 2042 all the time, and I just say, you know what? It's a No Man's Sky situation. Go and play it now. It's on Game Pass. Like. Like you could play it, you're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, it's a very fun game to kind of like de-stress if you want to play an FPS, because you can just run around and like just do whatever you want and like kill some people, and then like you don't have to worry about like, oh no, I didn't do very well, I'm making my team lose, or somebody's gonna trash talk me because I'm not doing well. It's like I can go 2-13 honestly, and nobody would even notice because there's like 80 people in the game.
Yeah, and honestly, that was my last Call of Duty experience. It's like, oh, like you're not helping the team win, blah 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 blah. Like, okay, wow, this is my first time. I'm just trying to play with my friends. And I was like, I'm gonna switch games.
Yeah, not very fun.
Yeah, squad of 4, and you got to rely on each other. It's like, I just met you, internet stranger. Like, please do not commit microphone abuse.
Microphone abuse.
Let's all just have a good attitude and
abusing your microphone and my ears. Like...
Yeah, exactly.
What can you do in this world? You can't even love in this world. You can't face the darkness, can't face the light. You can't even live in this world.
Limited Run Games, they split they had their whole LGR release and showcase. They split up the announcements, but we've got one thing. We got these two big ones in one announcement from from this publication right here, Infinite Start. The headline reads, Gex Trilogy and Tomba announced for modern platforms. And from the article, Limited Run Games announced Gex Trilogy and Tomba are coming to modern platforms. Details are still limited, but the Gex trilogy was confirmed for PlayStation 4 and 5, the Xbox Series consoles, Nintendo Switch, and PC. And Tomba is the same as well. And, you know, okay, so I'll say it like this. I've never had a really bad experience with limited run games, but as someone who ordered the Star Wars The Force Awakens and still hasn't gotten it, whatever you might feel about limited run games, whatever you might feel about them as a company, I really think it is cool to see these 90s platform games come back. And we're getting like remakes of games like this, because this isn't kind of just like, this isn't like a Mario Brothers remake, right? Like Gex and Tomba, like we were saying, like these are kind of like obscure today.
Yeah, definitely some of the standouts from a large PS1 library.
Yeah, like I remember if you look back on scores for these games, they both were relatively high, but mixed to high, so pretty favorable. But here's the big question: you guys think they keep Dana Gold's voice track?
I hope so. I want to see gameplay before I sort of judge its appearance and stuff. But I really hope so. Yeah. Why go through the trouble of having to re-record it? If anything, they'll do like Dragon Ball Z Kai and just cut some stuff out.
I'm curious because I mean it's got to be really low quality at this point, right? Like if I mean how long ago was that game? So I almost feel like they have to try something new with it. I genuinely don't know though.
Yeah, it depends. It almost depends on like how well they would have preserved the audio, or if they just like put it in the recycle bin and called it a day.
I'll say it like this. I actually played Gex 3 Deep Cover Gecko like 3 years ago. Like 2-3 years ago. I played it during the pandemic on an emulator. And there's some jokes in that game that would not be suitable for modern sensibility.
Yes, I could see that for sure.
Yeah.
It is a very 90s game.
Well, maybe now's the time.
I feel like if we lean, I feel like it might just be beneficial to just lean into it and just be like, isn't this just the lamest, cheesiest shit you've ever heard? Like play up, like, listen, this is the 90s, the game. I can't think of a more 90s game than Gex. Like
maybe
he was on the Sega Saturn.
Conquer would be close to me in a different way though.
I think Conquer's more influential than Gex. I think Conquer is a bit more eclectic than Gex. Conquer did a lot of, because Gex. When you think about the gameplay side, what does Gex stand out for? The only thing that I can think of is climbing and karate kicking. And when I think of Conquer's Bad Fur Day, I was shooting, I was platforming, I was puzzle solving, I was doing so many.
Context sensitive. That B button. Always remember that joke. It's like, it's context sensitive, sensitive to context. So it does something different depending on where you hit the button.
Which was really unique. Cool, like it was a really great and unique thing. So like I feel in my personal, I say this all the time. Personally, I believe that if we didn't have Conker's Bad Fur Day, we wouldn't have Ratchet and Clank, we wouldn't have Sly Cooper, we wouldn't have, all these games that have like fuzzy cute mascots that like tell you to fuck off. Like
with their witty remarks.
Yeah, you wouldn't have that if you didn't have Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Nice little dose of comedy from your action platformer shooter.
It's very before its time. I mean, like so much of like what went into Conker's stuff was what went into like obviously problematic stuff aside, but like High on Life, stuff like that, games like that. There's a lot of stuff.
I can see High on Life being like a new Conker's Bad Fur Day, like You know, that's that. You're right. I think you're right. That is that next step but I don't know.
I mean, it's not the same. I mean, Conker's was amazing. Had you ever played not Bad Fur Day, but it was the sequel to that on GameCube, I believe.
It was the Xbox remake.
Or Xbox. Was it Xbox? Maybe it was.
Yes.
That had the multiplayer where it was almost like a Battlefield game. So
that's still online. If you have
Really?
that game and you have an Xbox, Conquer Live and Reloaded was one of those games where Microsoft came out and explicitly said we are bringing the online back online for this game. So I'm pretty sure if you have the disc and you have an Xbox Series X, you could go online and you could play fucking Live and Reloaded. I don't know if anyone's playing it, but
yeah, if anybody can keep those servers on, it's Microsoft.
Well, we got fan-made servers.
Yeah.
And fan recompiles. I actually think Conquer Bad Fur Day multiplayer is recompiled from fans, like Ocarina of Time.
Nice. Yeah, such a great multiplayer game. Even on the 64, like you could have a good time.
I know. The heist mode, so good.
Yeah.
Love that mode.
Couldn't even do that in Grand Theft Auto yet.
We have new releases. Exoprimal tomorrow, Game Pass, on PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and Steam. You guys, this is Exoprimal is the latest shooter from Capcom. It's like a dinosaur survival wave shooter. You're getting attacked by dinosaurs, and you are facing off against rival teams who are also fighting off against these dinosaurs. You guys checking out Exoprimal?
I want to say none of those words you just said are real words. That sounds like the most fake thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But no, honestly, I didn't try it in any of the betas, but I've had a lot of friends try it, and they were very surprised at how fun the game was, which I kind of feel like it had to be, because if it's a Capcom game that's that bizarre out of nowhere, I feel like it's got to have at least something.
Yeah, a little bit of charm, right? You know, I was a big fan of Mass Effect 3 and that like wave shooter. So if it's anything remotely like that, with that little hint of like Capcom foolishness, tomfoolery, badassery, then yeah, I would like to check that out.
Is this what we're doing for Dino Crisis, guys? Is this the next Dino Crisis? Is it Exoprimal?
We have Dino Crisis at home. You have to play with your friends.
Honestly, everybody got baited by that original announcement trailer. Everybody was watching. They saw it. They saw Capcom, and it starts with like a red-haired girl, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, red girl dinosaurs! Like what? We're getting another." And then it's like Exoprimal. This is something totally different. And everybody's like, "Oh, okay." I'm not saying it's bad. Again, it looks pretty entertaining at minimum.
Yeah, it looks. Hey, you know what? I have a couple of people. I'm getting mixed from my friends who have played the betas, but I will say the people who liked it loved it. Like glued to the screen, loved it. Like played with their friends for like 4 hours straight, loved it. So you know what? If you're into wave shooters, if you're into survival style multiplayer games, especially with that competitive edge of there's another team in there. I don't know if there's more than 2 teams. There might be. I don't know, but that seems pretty cool. I liked Destiny 2. Had a mode where it was like a PvPvE mode where you had 2 teams killing NPCs to gather like a resource and bring it back, and you could kill another player to get his resource and steal it.
Ooh,
for yours. Yeah, so hopefully we've got something like that going on in there. Next one is a PC only. This is a big one, guys. Old school franchise, Jagged Alliance 3.
Ooh, that's been around
Turn-based
a while, right?
tactical military RPG. From the Steam page, the country of Grand Chien is thrown into chaos when the elected president goes missing and the paramilitary force known as the Legion seizes control. Hire mercs, meet interesting characters, and fight in tactically deep turn-based combat in this true successor to a beloved franchise. I played Jagged Alliance 2. That game's hard.
Okay, yeah, it looks like Commandos almost, where it's like squad based on something like that. Also,
kind of XCOM.
Maybe some building. Yeah, tough.
Like all those types of games are tough, yeah. Like not a single one is an easy ride. There are definitely some of those games where you're like, well, all right, time to start over, and then maybe you don't. But I mean, I think they're cool games for sure. It's kind of like the evolution of tactics games in a way. Not that anything needed to happen in tactics games, but it's definitely like a new age type of them.
Yeah, it looks beautiful, but probably for fans of XCOM.
Exactly. I mean, Commandos. Surely everything like that. The last tactics game that I played actually was that Marvel Midnight Suns tactics game, which actually ended up being way more than a tactics game. That game's like a life sim tactics game. Like, wow. It's so wild. Like, it's like a card game that's a tactical, top-down tactical that in between them, instead of doing things like XCOM research, which you still can do, but you're custom creating. I forget what create a character. It's that kind of lame concept to me. But like your custom created character like hangs out with the Marvel characters and like builds relationships with them, like becomes their friend. Like, and it makes them do better in combat, and you have like team up bonuses. It was really fun, but it was still hard.
A lot of thinking required if you want to reach the end of that one.
Absolutely.
This is Wonder Chef, and you're listening to CFM Radio.
Here we are, CFM Radio.
Yo, CFM Radio.
Here with EGP Wonder Chef.
Yo.
All right, guys. Anyone here heard of Palia?
I have, in fact.
I have now.
A little
Thanks
MMO
to
project.
Clusterfuck Media.
Thanks to Clusterfuck Media, you have. You know, it's a little MMO project from some ex-WoW devs. Well, you know, this little humble game billing itself as the quote-unquote cozy MMO is entering its first closed beta period, with the open beta period following hot off the heels of that one. So, from the official website, the headline is, "Coming soon, Palia's PC public beta." Actually, this is kind of fast, considering it was just announced at the Nintendo Direct. Less than a month ago?
Yeah, why invest in marketing with an unfinished product? You know, just play it smart, guys. Learn from the mistakes of bigger companies. And yeah, maybe just
open beta time.
Announce it when it's time for the public to generally participate.
Seriously. Reading further, we got a little bit of a bullet point list that tells us the following features. Players can now create their own account on Palia.com starting today. Closed beta begins August 2nd at 10 a.m. Pacific time when the NDA drops. Open beta begins August 10th at 10 a.m. when everyone can play. That's Pacific time. And then no more wipes. All the gameplay progress you do in this beta goes into the full game.
All right. We should check this out.
For an MMO, that's kind of intense.
Yeah,
For
I mean,
testing it?
for sure, it seems like, just from what I've seen from all of it, because I've been recommended it a few times on, I don't know, Steam or something. Not Steam per se, but it does seem like for sure an MMO where your whole goal was building stuff up, right? So very similar to the like Animal Crossing type dealio. So I would totally understand how it would feel bad if you built a bunch of stuff in the beta, you built up your home, you got connections with people, and then you had to do it all again, and it would feel kind of less impactful.
I didn't think about it like that. That's a good way of saying, I think I have too much World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy brain, because I think, when I think, man, you can carry on your progress from a beta, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be so far behind. Palia is a cozy sim MMO where you can play with old friends or meet new friends to enjoy activities like gardening, mining, hunting, fishing, and more, while unraveling unique lore filled with mysteries alongside romanceable NPCs rich with backstory and personality. Wow, you can romance your NPC in an MMORPG.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
D&D fans rejoice.
It's definitely I would say a game related to the old classic, and really any of the kind of farming sims that we've seen, like Harvest Moon, of course, or now, oh my gosh, what's the pixel art one that I'm blanking on?
Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley, yes, thank you. I can't believe I forgot that name. That was a brain fart moment. But yeah, it's definitely kind of looking to be that type of thing, but it looks like there's going to be a little bit more focus on multiplayer play, which is pretty cool. They did show in the trailer, I know that there was like 8 people within like one world, and I do know that it's kind of an online offline thing where you don't have to play with other people, but you kind of get cross progress amongst everybody's worlds.
Yeah,
interesting.
I wonder if that's just the farming game trope, having somebody to share the farm with.
I think that's a good trope, though. It makes sense. It makes sense for a farm. Like, when push comes to shove, back before industrial civilization, people had a lot of kids on to maintain that farm.
Oh yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. You need someone to help you with all of, man, farm work is hard work.
Mm-hmm.
That is hard work.
Extra hands for help.
Man, like I'm interested in this now that Chef said like brought up the Harvest Moon parallel. I'm like, MMO Harvest Moon. That sounds actually really fun. Like,
yeah, really.
I love that. I don't know if any of you guys play the Rune Factory games, but Rune Factory 5 on the Switch, not a great looking game graphically, but really rich mechanically. Like, so many intricate farming systems and like relationship building systems. So crazy. Like,
that's what I say about myself. Not rich graphically, but mechanically.
Hey, Chef, that's not true. You're clearly rich graphically. People like when you're on camera.
maybe.
Proof is there.
At least, maybe those are the parts they don't like, and they just wait for just to hear my voice again.
Enchanters, the time has come to be alive in the circle of Magi where we will thrive with our brothers. Enchanters remind that time will not unwind. The dragon's crooked spine will never straighten into line.
I love Baldur's Gate. Those are some of my favorite games. Like, I love Baldur's Gate 1, I love Baldur's Gate 2. All the stuff that came out on the what was it, the last panel from hell, that's what they called it, right before we talked about it on CFM radio, funny enough, or right after, I should say, right after we talked about it on CFM radio, the day after they came out with that. And like, man, that game looks awesome. The character customization, the role playing on the seeing the city, like, oh my god. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3, it's gonna be great.
I wanna fly sky high. Let's go together. I wanna fly sky high. Let's go together.
Go for it, man!
I know that you'll be back.